questions on the secretary's report? If not, township manager, zoning officer.
Had 122 calls for service in October, issued one zoning permit. I finally met with the representatives from Mark West concerning Babel Road. They resurfaced a large portion of that roadway, and as a result, everything has been completed as per our instructions. The same holds true with Maple Grove Road. We met with them at that location as well and determined that the work that needs to be done on the small portion going down over the hill towards the bridge will fall within the parameters of the township and not with Mark West, as they never traveled on that roadway. Additionally, the third of the four demolition notices have been sent out. The progress is moving along as scheduled, and we received a donation from the McDonald's Sportsman's Club for $2,000. And that's it.
Any questions for the manager's zoning officer's report? If not, solicitor.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. For the most part, we've worked on some of the ordinances that were discussed this evening. We've also worked with the manager and with Mark West relative to some paving concerns and provided some legal advice on some right-to-know requests.
Any questions from the board? If not, we'll go right to Public Works. Anything on Public Works?
Just that they're repairing the equipment for the winter months.
Planning Commission, there's nothing from the Planning Commission, is there? Nothing?
Chairman, Chairman.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
nothing.
Under old business, after the October 14th supervisors meeting, the supervisors did speak with the chief of police in executive session. It wasn't a planned executive session, but we discussed the police budget and the township budget for the police for 2014. We also held an executive session this evening and discussed some of the changes that the residents brought up concerning the zoning ordinance with the solicitor. That's all I have on the old business. Under new business, we also met with the new supervisors before the hearings began and gave them some information on the police contract, budget information, and just discussed some of the police issues and some of the financial issues in the budget. The next item is new business. We do have a gift cards for the employees that we do for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And what was the amount?
For 9 April.
For all the employees. Is there a motion?
Pardon? One card for each.
Is there a motion to approve $25 gift certificates for the full-time township employees? I'll second it. Mr. Rositz?
Yes.
Mr. Love? Yes. My vote is yes. Motion carries. We also have the advertising for the proposed budget. Is there a motion to approve advertising for the proposed budget for the December 9th, 2013 regular supervisors meeting?
I'll second it.
Is there a second? Mr. Rositz?
Yes.
Mr. Love?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Motion carries. We have nothing else under new business. Public comments? If anybody would like to make a public comment?
Mr. Walter, Bigger Road. To the township manager, they paved Babel Road, and I know that I've been 2 spots now, but I want to know why they paved it when they're done moving heavy equipment on it. They have a big crane out there now that goes probably 20 times.
And we brought that to their attention last week when I went out to examine it, and they assured us that if there's any damage done to it, they would have to come back out and research.
You realize they have damaged Campbell Road in the process?
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
And they're going to be made aware that they have to repair anything and everything that they've damaged as a result of this movement. And because of that, we haven't released the bond on those 2 roadways as well.
Yeah, they used the crane out there, they hauled out a big ocean, they had all them timbers they can haul out, and there's been big heavy traffic.
We're very much aware of that.
Miss, she had
Loretta Kendall. I noticed that in the minutes that there's no legal fund. There was 105,000 in there. What happened to,
We consolidated the accounts, I can't remember how long ago that was.
wasn't that long ago? But where did it go?
Infrastructure improvements, we did road paving, equipment purchases, water line extensions in the township.
How did legal fund turn into capital improvements?
That's a discretionary fund, I actually set that fund up. I don't believe we've ever used any money out of that fund. And, we consolidated the accounts.
Why was it called legal?
Just a term that we put on the fund in case we did need it. And as it turned out, we did. Mr. Gamble?
Mr. Barnes, on the Babel Road, why did they leave the two worst spots of the road?
That I can't respond to.
Township can't ask them to do that?
The way it was brought to our attention was the condition of the road was synonymous with the way it was when they started that project. And the way the agreement was made up, it had to be made as was, or if not better. And
Yeah, so their initial position was, this is as good as it was when we
Right.
started. And we were in discussions with them about maybe improving that.
If there are areas in that road that are worse now than before, it's a good idea to contact Mr. Baylor's North, they show them where they're at, mark them, let's get those fixed.
I have one comment about that road. I walk that road all the time, and I run it and everything.
Mhm.
And that road was tarred and chipped, and it had an asphalt surface. And you got two sections now that when it's wet, the crap gets all over you, and when it's dry, it's gonna be dust all over you. And that
Right.
wasn't the way it was, even though it was crummy, it was still tarred and chipped, and there was still a salt surface on it.
You talk about the upper part, right?
Yeah, well, the two persons on Maple
You
Road.
get paid
Maple
out
Road
legal
was
fund?
decent, that's where they ran on that road.
I did have one other question. Why were the CDs cashed in?
We rolled over the CDs in that area.
They were cashed in.
I'm sorry,
The CDs that we rolled over.
a couple times.
Yeah, we had earmarked that money for infrastructure improvements, and we didn't need the money at the time, so we had renewed those CDs, knowing that if we needed the money for infrastructure, we would cash them out. Those were renewed a couple of times. We didn't want to let them sit in the account on our interest.
Wouldn't it be better to leave them in there?
I think it was only a $25 charge too. Was it 25?
There was no charge.
No charge? There was no charge.
Because they were mature.
They had matured, we had put those in there a while ago. Any other questions, other comments?
Dennis Elias, Robinson Church Road. We
Say
talked
again.
about,
Name?
Dennis Elias, Robinson Church Road, $105,000 moved over. Could you give us a little more breakdown? You said on equipment purchases and infrastructure improvements.
It's all part of the public record. It's in the meeting minutes. If you want anything, you can come up here and the manager or the secretary will give you any information. We had earmarked money for capital purchases, roads, infrastructure improvements in the township. We did, I'm doing this approximately $150,000 worth of road work, I believe this summer. We made several equipment purchases. We've purchased 2 new trucks over the last few years, trailer, excavator, and then we had water line extensions, which we approved. One is on Nature's Way, the other one is Old Student Pike. So if you have any particular questions about the money, it's all part of the record. It's either in the meeting minutes or, Ms. Rummel or our township manager can give you any information.
Where was the water extension on Steubenville Pike?
Originally, the water extension was coming from Golden Triangle Construction to Robinson Church Road. The estimated bid for that came back at $1,014,000. We had approximately $750,000 to do water line extensions. We also wanted to do Nature's Way. So we did Nature's Way, and Pennsylvania American came back, saying that Smith Township, coming up, Old Steubenville Pike from Smith, we can get more residents, would be cheaper, so it comes up from Smith. Does not make it to Campbell Road, contrary to what some people have been saying. If we lose a couple of the taps on Old Steubenville Pike, it looks like we may, because there's one house that may not get built, that line's going to get shorter. For every house that we can get connected into that water line, the Pennsylvania American gives back a $10,500 credit. And then that credit can be used to put toward the water line to keep extending. When we try to come down from Golden Triangle Construction, we only can get one house. And after you get past Ridge Road on Old Steubenville Pike, you run into that new section that's paved, the berms are paved, there was no place to dig in a berm. That drove the price up by about 35% on a linear foot price. So priority for this board and the previous board too was we wanted to get a 12-inch line extended in the northern portion of the township. Steubenville Pike was the obvious choice. We wanted to do a loop there in the township. We even looked at Bigger Road at one point, and that was over $1 million. And we only got to the big round where the Bigger's house is. We couldn't get any farther than $1 million. So right now, the line's coming down past the Abington exit, and depending on where the credit is on the tap ins, it will depend on
Smith Township doesn't come all the way down the line, do they?
I didn't think truthfully, I didn't think that water line came for us in Smith. But when Pennsylvania American came back to us, that line was closer than what I thought in Smith Township.
I thought it ended at Prayos up on top of the hill where that last hydrant.
I think that's where they're coming from. The distance is actually different.
But that's not the end of Smith. I mean, Smith Township comes on that blood all the way down to the Flat Creek there.
Well, wherever the line is here, that's where they're coming from.
Who's paying for it in Smith Township?
Because they can connect those homes in, they give you a credit to pay for the lines, you know what I'm saying? So that cluster of homes down near the border, they're essentially with the credit, they're paying for the line. The farther you go and you don't have homes, you don't get the credit. That's how it works. That's why nobody pays a tap fee, because they give you that credit back, and you don't have to worry about somebody getting charged a $5,000 or $10,000 tap. There's no tapping fees. And I think I said this last month, that anybody in those areas, either Nature's Way or Old Steubenville Pike, that doesn't take a free tap, whether they're going to use that water or not, is crazy. So hopefully, what the new board will do, and it takes about 2 years. We saved up capital improvement money, and we saved the impact fee money for 2 years. Hopefully, in 2 years, we'll do the same thing, and then they can take the line from wherever it ends on Steubenville Pike, take it to Robinson Church Road, because it's too expensive to come the other way. What we're thinking is when the turnpike comes through and the development starts, that the developer will connect the two at that point.
Did you sign a contract on that yet?
Yes. Preliminary contract. Yeah.
Roger, you just stated that people would be foolish not to take the tap, but did you not just pass a ordinance and resolution last meeting mandating if you're within 200 feet, you had to connect?
Yeah, but most people along Steubenville Pike won't even fall within that. If you look at the Moors and really anybody down there, there's very few people that are going to get mandated to take that tap. And as I said at the last meeting, if you don't want the water, take the tap and don't drink the water. Don't use it. But it's a free tap.
Aren't you going to get a bill every month no matter what?
A couple of dollars. I mean, I'm saying that it's foolish not to take that tap if it's free.
But you're going to look up to it.
Tap in is free.
Free, F-R-E, free. I mean, I worked for 2 years.
It's free.
I worked for 2 years with Pennsylvania American to get those lines and get those credits back. And Nature's Way, those people approached us years ago. For time, in fact, I think Mr. Schenkel was with them.
Yeah, Fort Schenkel. I need to say something. I heard almost directly, my wife was told that when the new board came in, they were going to take Nature's Way off the docket and not give us the water that we thought we were getting. So expect an opposition if that happens.
You know, the lines, just so everybody understands, the line extensions are only the first phase. The reason that Nature's Way was included in that is because the Pennsylvania American wants to go up Donaldson. There's a cluster of houses on Donaldson that they want to catch. And they're also replacing the line. It cuts across, I forget whose property, on Candor Road, goes down over the hill, goes down Maple Grove Road. Those lines are all going to be replaced. So we talked to them about, instead of cutting over the hill through private property, maybe they could take some of those lines to some of the public roads, give them an easement, let them go down to public roads so those people can also be tapped. So that's just the first phase. But the new board needs to follow through. It takes about 2 years to save up enough money to do another extension. And just keep doing the extensions.
I would like to say one more thing. My wife was approached at the polling place, the old church, about this plan that the new board was going to stop, the plan to give us water. That way, she'll testify to that.
Yeah, I don't know what the objection is to public water, but if you don't want to use the public water, don't use it. But, I mean, I don't know why anybody will not take that tap. Mr. Jenkins.
Yes, Tim Jones, Maple Grove Road. The comment you made earlier about the tap-in fees and the waiver per resident, that doesn't come close, though, to offsetting the cost per foot. And I'm referring to the Steubenville Pike extension. So if I understand this correctly, if there's roughly 900 or 1,000 feet of Smith Township property being crossed at Robinson Township expense, and are you then using those residents there? Are there residents in Smith Township that will benefit from the Robinson Township expenditure?
Well, if you're doing $10,500 per tap, that'll get you pretty far when you start doing 5, 10 taps. That's what I'm saying.
I can't come up with a number of people, though, that are tapped. Again, once you hit Robinson Township, I could only come up with maybe 6 or 7 residents or occupied dwellings that are on the entire Steubenville Pike line, which would be, what, 7,000 feet?
Wait a minute, let me back up on that, so that to clarify exactly what Steubenville Pike water line extension is. That is a main trunk line, it's a 12-inch main trunk line to serve the entire northern portion of the township. That's the idea. It's not a feeder line that we're now sending up Campbell Road, up down Robinson Church Road. That's not what it is. The idea is to get a main feeder line to the northern portion of the township and then go along that line. So the idea is not to connect houses necessarily, although that's what it's going to do. The idea is to make that line get up there so that we can go into the northern portion.
And did you exhaust all the grants that may have been available, if there are any available?
I personally went and applied for the slots revenue to try to get water up to the Biggers, because Mrs. Ulrich for years has told me the Biggers have bad water. Dawn Duran had bad water. So all those things were exhausted. We went down, we put an application in for the slots money, we were denied. We went down again, put an application in for the slots money, we were denied. The only way that we can extend the lines is, one, we got a terrific price back from Alex Paris. They came in about $50 lower than what we were expecting per linear foot. We thought if we can make it to the Babington exit, that would be great. Instead of $150, he came in back in like $95 for that water extension. But to answer your question, we tried for those grants. The Act 13 impact money is just that, it's impact fee money. We had a capital improvement fund. We did not use any money out of the general fund. We did not take tax dollars from property and wage taxes to do that. All that money came from different sources, whether they were capital improvement impact. We did not use tax dollars for those water. Now, some of the tax money that we saved over the years went to some of the equipment purchases, but that's just the capital, part of the capital improvement fund that we were saving.
Roger, Kendall. Does or does not that line make it to your property?
Now, the property may into my driveway or anything, absolutely not.
So does it make it to your property?
Problem.
Is it not about 3,000 feet from there to the last one? Roughly, guessing. I don't know. I can tell you that it is.
And the point being,
$300,000 ending up your property.
I just explained to Mr. Jones, so you're saying that we should cut off Campbell Road and Robinson Church Road?
No, I'm saying it's kind of convenient now, the line ends at your property.
Convenient for what? That plan is years old. We've been talking to Pennsylvania American Water for years.
Did you not tell the paper that if I were to vote on something that would benefit me, you would protest it? It was in the paper, it's right in front of me. I understand.
Who's on the press command?
There was an interview with you,
From who?
Andrew Hayward, from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. You had commented that.
Well, Miss Ziegler's here.
You would be back here. I'll bring you a copy of the paper.
Miss Ziegler's here. Do you remember anything like that, Sue?
Sorry, I don't know what anybody's referring to.
I don't
I
remember.
have the paper, I'm reading for you next meeting, no problem. It stated that you would be here to protest if Stephen and I had voted on anything that would benefit us. I'm saying
I think
conveniently
that
spent,
I will say-
I'm talking, sir, I'm saying you conveniently spent $300,000 to pipe that up at your property.
No.
No?
We spent money.
Does it end at your property?
I'm not sure where that pipe is going to end. Did you get a copy of the agreement that we signed with Pennsylvania American?
I saw the map.
Did you get a copy of the agreement?
The actual agreement?
The agreement and the preliminary estimate from Pennsylvania American.
I do not have that in my
The
possession.
preliminary agreement from Pennsylvania American is just that. It's a preliminary. And they're going to do the engineering on it, the cost, the road, and find out where it ends. I have no idea where that line. That line can end up 500 feet before Campbell Road. That line could possibly end 500 feet after Campbell. I have no idea until the engineering is done. But just because somebody lives or owns property along a particular road, you're suggesting that somehow that line should be extended along Old Steubenville Pike?
I'm saying that the line of Nature's Way is feeding 5 or 6 homes, right? A roughly 1,000-foot pipe, 200 foot to a house. That's a practical expense. I'm saying you're going almost 1,000 feet from Smith Township to our township to feed 4 or 5 houses, and then go an additional 3,000 feet. Isn't practical when you could have run pipeline anywhere else in the township and continue to feed more homes.
Well, at what point do you extend water lines in the northern portion of the township? Do you never do it then? By your reasoning, you never extend a water line in the northern portion of the township. Because it's always going to be the same scenario. You either extend a line down Old Steubenville Pike or you don't.
Well, did you not just say you were hoping someday some developer would bring the line?
No, no,
If that be the case, why would you not wait a couple of years?
What I said, and I'll clarify, is that the probability is very high that some developer between Robinson Church Road and Golden Triangle Construction, where the turnpike is coming through, will probably finish the line. That is never going to happen on the other side of Robinson Church Road down to Campbell Road. It's never going to happen. There's nobody coming along and saying, I'm going to extend a water line up Old Steubenville Pike for the township drainage. It's just not going to happen.
Well, according to your new development, we're going to have all this new business where you rezoned everything. Obviously, this new business would bring the line in, right?
No.
Why not?
Because they would bring it from Golden Triangle Construction to their development. You need to take a look at the plan that Pennsylvania American gave us.
I'm talking about Greg Kopenicki's property.
Who?
Greg Kopenicki. Where's his property at?
Well, he would benefit from the water line.
Yes.
If he does any development there, he's going to benefit from the water line. My point is, you know, you can't, because you don't want somebody to extend a water line in parts of the town, that water line has to be extended at some point. It's either that or you just don't do anything. And for too many years, that water line hasn't been extended anywhere in the township. We thought it was a great idea when Golden Triangle brought that water line across the highway. We thought that is going to be the way to take it down Old Steubenville Pike. It ended up being more expensive from that direction. They gave us, well, I have all the estimates from Pennsylvania American Water.
People up in the northern part of the township should be happy for that, but believe it not, but getting a fire hydrant in there will bring down your house.
And why aren't they? I don't understand why people complain about extended water lines. But I have no problem with my well whatsoever. I have no.
It's the fact that you spent $750,000. You didn't finance it in any way, shape, or form.
Finance it? Why would you finance something when we have the cash to pay for it?
Well, you have. It don't matter too much, you won't be sitting there, so.
That's right. And I would never, ever finance something and leave 2 new supervisors with a $700,000 bill. Why in the world would I do something like that?
Act 13 monies.
That's
One of the suggested earmarks.
That's what the money's here for. You cannot take Act 13 money, grant money, and pay township bills with it.
Sure, that was half the money you spent. The other half was from capital improvement.
Right. And that's what we did. We're making capital improvements in the township. Roads, water. Listen, I can understand if you came in here and said, that water line came not old Steubenville Pike and up Campbell Road. Up Campbell Road to all my neighbors. Okay, that's legitimate. That's not what's going on. Nature's Way got their water line first. Because they came in here, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Right.
They asked for a water line, they budgeted for a water line, they got a water line.
In fact, whenever, if I may say, before you were elected, you stopped into my house campaigning, and I said, get us water if you can. So that was 6 years ago. And I truly don't appreciate finding out that the new supervisors coming in already said that they're going to nix the water coming to us.
Not true.
That is true. That is true.
No, it is
That's
not.
what you said
Have you asked
to
me?
Kelly. That's exactly what you
I
said.
would just say,
No.
That was not said.
No, yes, it was said.
Okay. I would just say to everybody, especially my neighbors that live in the township, we can have disagreements on a lot of things. Disagree on the overlay district zoning. I get it, I'm listening, but as far as the water lines and infrastructure improvements in the township, I mean, I disagree. I think that's a wise use of funds. Act 13 impact money, capital improvement funds, I think that's where they should go. I think water should be a priority where we live. I agree to spend some of the money on the roads because I think some of the roads needed it. Quite honestly, water is a priority in the northern portion of the township. And all I'm saying is, in 2 years, there's no reason that the supervisors cannot take that water line right up to Robinson Church Road. That's where it should be. And then I would start doing the feeder lines at Robinson Church. But is it going to be cost effective? Absolutely not. You're going to go from wherever it stops to Robinson Church Road and get, what, 2 or 3 homes? And 2 of those homes are not required to tap in the homes that are sitting back on the lake. That's not practical. That's just what you have to do. At some point, you have to extend those water lines.
Just the numbers, okay? If you went from Golden Triangle up to what was referred to as at one point Goat Lady Bend, that would actually serve 17 residents. If you went up Robinson Church Road, from Golden Triangle to up Robinson Church Road, the numbers would actually be 17 families, just to what I would refer to as Goat Lady Bend. Beyond that, to the manse, you would serve 25 families. And one of these places was a business, and I have to scratch my head just a little bit on this. You're proposing this area to be business.
We don't have any water.
But water coming from like Andy's, and there's 2 empty homes there, yours, and who else?
You have Colvinetti's property, or Andy's.
There's no one living there,
You
right?
have Moore's.
Moore's,
You have
Andy's,
across the street there. I don't care if somebody's living there or not. I'm
Crane.
saying if they're here tonight, maybe you're not.
well,
living
anyway,
there.
we're talking
Think of
about
that.
5, possibly 5, and two properties that no one lives on, as opposed to 25.
Mrs. Kramer,
No, I'm just saying the numbers.
the money that we had budgeted for water line extension would have brought the water line to the turnpike from Golden Golden Triangle Construction's in Turnpike. That's only one house. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't make it to Robinson Church and go down Robinson Church. It was over $1 million. And that's not doing Nature's Way. My point is, it's cheaper to come the way, if it comes from Smith to Robinson Church, it's cheaper. It's
I
cheaper to come
understand
that
what you're
way.
saying, I'm just giving you a number. There would be 25 people affected and one business coming from Golden Triangle.
I think that's great, but it comes down to dollars and cents.
And you're proposing this area to be a business, but back to my original comments, I want agricultural back in my property. Then you don't ever have to give me one.
But you'll take it if it comes by.
Not necessarily.
Hey, Johnny Roman ran a bar for 20 years without running water. It was a stinking bar.
Is there any other public comments? Anything else from the board? If not, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second?
Yeah.